the SR22. I'm going to demonstrate my devices so you can see how I use them and how they are set up. So let's jump in the cockpit. We're cold and dark. Bring the panels on screen so you can see what I'm using. Okay, top left we have the Mini Autopilot. This controls all the aspects of the autopilot in the aircraft. Top right we have the Stream Deck buttons, how I've configured them for the SR22. If I go back, I can show you I've got a row of aircraft that I've currently set up. Select the SR22. Those are the settings for that. The actual Stream Deck is below the graphic, and next to the Stream Deck is the Mini FMS, which is basically controls the MFD side of the Garmin unit for the navigation. So let's start the aircraft. I use the master. Turn on the strobe light to let the guys know outside. I'm going to start the engine. Clear prop. Engine start. I'm going to turn on the other lights, the landing lights, nav lights, pitot heat, the ice protection. Probably don't need that today, but I'm going to switch it on. Switch the avionics while that warms up. Use the Mini FMS to control the Garmin. See, I can zoom in and out, turning the dial. What I'm going to do is set up a short flight plan with an ILS landing from this airport. So to do that, I turn the outer dial to the nearest airport, press the FMS button, the cursor button, and I'm going to select the first airport, which is EGNX, which is East Midlands Airport, which is the current airport we are now sat at. I'm going to do a direct to and activate that by enter and enter. That is now our destination airport. To add the ILS, I'm going to procedures, select approach. I'm going to choose ILS 27, enter that. I'm going to use rock up, enter, set the minimums to 400 feet, enter that, scroll down the flight plan, activate, and yes I will. Scroll out, you'll now see on the Garmin that we have a little flight plan just around the airport. So that's all set. I need to set up the autopilot unit now. Turn the flight director on. I'm going to change the CDI so it displays the GPS so we can follow the route. Set the altitude. I'm going to set the initial altitude to 4,000 feet. We can go up in thousands. I'll just press the button and it changes in thousands. So 4,000 feet initial altitude. I'm going to arm the VS, vertical speed, sorry. Set that to 1,000 feet per minute. I'm going to set the GPS mode, the nav mode. Right, we're ready to go. Set the aircraft flaps to take off. And break off. I'm going to taxi around to runway 27 and take off. And break off while we taxi him round. These devices I've made myself, printed on a 3D printer. Some basic wiring and soldering skills. Basically use an Arduino microprocessor board. Quite easy to make and obviously use with Mobiflight connector software. That's what talks to the simulator. SR22, a nice little aircrafter. ideal for this little demo flight. It's a little bit quicker than the Cessna 172, but it still has the Garmin G1000. Just pull up here and we'll have a quick check of the runway, make sure it's clear. Left's clear, right's clear. We'll now proceed and take off. I'll not be using the in-game ATC because sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Right, full power and we'll take off. Speed alive. And rotate. We do have live weather on. Flaps up. Once above 500 I normally activate the autopilot. I have it mapped to my joystick. I don't need the button on the unit itself. Autopilot is now active. We will be following the route. Zoom in the map. You'll see the plane follow the line. We are climbing at 1,000 feet per minute. That's set on the autopilot unit. Knock the power off slightly. Quite a misty day today. It should affect our little flight in IFR rules. Instrument rules. I'm going to change the climb to flight level change mode. With that you set the speed to which you want to climb at, or the minimum speed, and then the aircraft should climb until it reaches that speed. So the speed could increase more than 1,000 feet per minute, as what we had it set on vertical speed mode. We'll climb up to 4,000 feet. Once it does that, I'll demonstrate the heading mode and then change the flight plan using the Mini FMS, and then we'll land using ILS 27 wing. You can see that I've not used a mouse in the cockpit yet. Really quite a big game changer. Quite a lot of low cloud today. Once we reach 4,000 feet, I'll let it into heading mode. We'll head due north. About leveling off now, so the aircraft speed should pick up slightly when it levels off. I'm going to hit the heading mode now and it should head towards due north. We're now using heading mode and leaving the land route. I can change the heading mode and fly due east just by turning the dial on the unit. Obviously with this cloud level, IFR is a lot better. BFR, you probably have to stay below the clouds. can see gaps in the clouds, so maybe you can get away with it. Not too bad. I'm going to head north again. Demonstrate heading mode. And why the aircraft's heading north, we're going to edit the flight plan and change the waypoint. I'm going to do a direct to the D115X waypoint. Direct to, enter and activate. And you'll see now the flight plan's changed. I'm going to hit the GPS mode, navigation, and the aircraft should follow that route back towards the airport. I'm also going to descend to 3,000 feet. Use VS mode for that at 1,000 feet per minute. Just drop throttle because we're descending, so not to overspeed the aircraft. We'll head back to the runway for a landing. Just a short demo of this, just to demonstrate the units. Now I've set it up. The Stream Deck software is completely free. It's a plug-in you download, and then it's a matter of configuring it, creating your own buttons, or downloading existing ones. Mini FMS, 3D printed, switches and dials, wired up to an Arduino, and the Autopilot is the same, just has a 16:2 display on the front, which is fully configurable. You set it up the way you want it, although I have created some presets for different aircraft and different Autopilot units, but they all work. Just set it up the way you want it. Quite like this SR22, it's quite nippy and nimble. It looks good as well. It's an Asmo aircraft, I think. But we're at 3,000 feet, heading back towards the runway. I'm going to increase the throttle to get the speed up. When we get towards the turn on the next waypoint, I'll drop down to 2,000 feet and then lock onto the localizer. Notice the 10935 in the nav frequency is the ILS for this airport, so we will tune into that to capture the glide slope. The power station, and then just in the distance underneath the clouds, see the airport buildings. It's flying over Nottingham here, but you can't see it because of the clouds. Heading our way round. We can actually turn the ice protection off now. With the Stream Deck you can use Mobiflight commands. So anything that you can use with Mobiflight, you can use it on the Stream Deck. Very versatile. You can absolutely set any function you wish. Mobiflight, of course, is totally free software. You can donate and support the guys over there. Visit the Mobiflight Discord. I'm going to descend down to 2,000 feet and I'll use flight change mode for this just to demonstrate. I'm going to set the speed to 160. Now drop the throttle so the aircraft starts descending, and we'll reduce the speed ready for the turn. Zoom the map in. You can see what we're happening. The aircraft starts descending to 2,000. Should go below the clouds with this. The devices, unfortunately, are PC only. I have made a unit for the Xbox, but it is HID compliant keyboard, so you bind buttons in the settings. It still works. Obviously going through the clouds at the moment. Ready to turn back to the runway. Reach the altitude. Let's increase the throttle slightly. And we'll start turning. As we turn back towards the runway, we'll turn on the localizer 1 nav frequency, and we'll activate the glide slope on the autopilot unit. Quite simple once you've done it a few times. Keep turning at the moment back towards the runway. Farm on our left, a good indicator to know that you're on the right approach in the location. Some quite low clouds at the moment, so the ILS will be quite useful. A sunny morning here in Leicestershire. Live weather does look fairly real looking out my window. Right, I will now the system's changed to the localizer 1, I'm going to hit the approach button. You'll see that the glide slope is now displayed on the display and on the Garmin unit. We're just waiting for the green diamond to start dropping, and then we'll start the glide slope then into East Midlands. Green diamond is now moving down on the Garmin, you'll notice. We're at 2,000 feet, so we should capture it at the correct altitude. Can't see the runway yet, no visual. Started to descend, but glide slope's been captured and activated. We're now descending to the runway. I'll just drop the throttle, reduce the speed, and I'll enable the flaps for landing. Power's right down now. Reduce the speed. Just see the runway in the cloud, in the mist. Quite a bumpy approach. Go and activate the first flaps. Should bring the speed right down. Increase speed, put the full flaps on. Try and keep the speed to about 100 knots. We'll disengage the autopilot and I'll try and manually land the aircraft. Quite a bit of fun. Trying to keep the green diamond in the correct position, a little bit too high. I've got sort of a zoomed view of the cockpit at the moment. Quite a windy morning, been blown around quite a bit. Line up again, and I'll just drop the power and flare, touchdown. Touchdown. Flaps up, applying the brake to slow the aircraft. We'll exit at the first exit. Just rolling off now. We'll park up where we started. Keep things simple. Quite misty in the cockpit, but when you go external it looks quite clear. So we managed an ILS approach, manual landed it, quite a bumpy wind on approach. Not sure if the VFR is disallowed with this sort of cloud, maybe. Obviously you can override that in Sim. Park up here on the right. Put the handbrake on and now shut down the aircraft. Turn the P2 heat off, nav light, landing light off. I'm going to turn the engine off. Pressed it twice. Avionics off, strobe light off, master off. That's the aircraft back in cold and dark. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. Just a little short demo of my units. Catch you later. Cheers.